Valuable lessons from a Dole lettuce outbreak. The other day, I watched a fabulous presentation by Natalie Dyenson, the Vice President of Food Safety and Quality at Dole Food Company, who described with commendable transparency how she and her colleagues at Dole found the source of Listeria monocytogenes, which caused an outbreak from their products in 2021. There is a link to a replay of the 1-hour presentation below, but in the interest of saving you time, which is like my mission, here are the key learnings. A mysterious outbreak pattern. The outbreak was traced to salads made in 2 different states, both containing iceberg lettuce but made with raw materials from completely different growing regions. Genetic sequencing confirmed that, somehow, the exact same strain of Listeria monocytogenes was present in salads from both states. This genetic similarity means the bacteria almost certainly originated in the same place. But how did the same strain of Listeria end up in salads from 2 different factories and 2 different growing regions? It was a mystery. Not the usual suspects. A typical pattern for Listeria contamination is for it to occur inside a food processing facility. Both facilities implicated in the outbreak operated environmental monitoring programs. These programs are a process in which food facility staff take multiple swabs of different parts of the factory on a regular basis, checking for bacteria and other microorganisms. The main facility in this outbreak had more than 50,000 data points for Listeria swabs, and only 0.05% of the swabs had detected Listeria monocytogenes. After the outbreak started, 13,000 more swabs were collected from both facilities. Dole even dismantled processing equipment so they could swab inside it. The swabs revealed no evidence of Listeria contamination in the facilities. Having ruled out the facility and environment, the Dole food safety team turned their attention to a common raw material that could have been used in both facilities, such as recycled pallets or corrugated cardboard. No common raw materials. The team didn't find any common raw materials between the 2 facilities, but they did notice that lettuce from 2 different regions of the United States and processed in 2 different facilities happened to have been harvested by the same crew. This proved to be the link between the outbreaks traced to the facilities in Georgia and Michigan. Harvest equipment the culprit? Lettuce harvest equipment is moved across the country from one growing region to another as the growing seasons change. It turns out that a bulk lettuce harvester used in California was later used in Yuma, and lettuce harvested with that harvester was first sent from California to Georgia and later from Yuma to Michigan. Lettuce from both places was used in the outbreak products. And by the way, how marvellous is this level of traceability to be able to trace back to a single harvest crew? Automated harvest equipment hasn't changed much in the past 100 years. It looks almost the same as it did in the 1920s and 1930s. It was designed to be efficient, relatively lightweight so as not to sink into the soil in fields, and small enough to be moved on interstate highways. It was designed at a time when most fresh produce was cooked before eating. It was not designed for hygiene. Mystery solved. The Dole investigation team travelled to a growing area to inspect the harvester implicated in the outbreak. They swabbed various parts of the machinery, including nooks and crannies where leaf debris and dirt were trapped. They found Listeria monocytogenes that was an exact genetic match to the outbreak strain. In the same part of the growing area, a bacterial monitoring database had records of similar strains of L. monocytogenes that had been recovered from just 450 feet away. The harvester was cut up and sold for scrap. What did Dole learn? Dole already knew that once you get bacterial pathogens onto leafy greens, they are very difficult to wash off. What they learnt from this outbreak is that unclean harvesters can be a significant source of contamination. Natalie and her team quickly realised that the design of the conveyor belts and elevators on harvesters make them incredibly difficult to clean. They set about reviewing and improving the hygienic design attributes of harvest equipment. Dole's team also reviewed how the equipment should be cleaned, including which chemicals are used, and implemented a process for verifying cleaning and sanitation processes in real time so that cleaners can see how well they've performed their jobs. Twice a year, the harvest equipment is now subjected to a deep clean, in which the equipment is decommissioned, dismantled, cleaned, assessed, improved, and recommissioned. New equipment is being built with frames that cannot hold dirt and bacteria. Conveyor belts and elevators have been redesigned so that they're easy to clean in place and easier to remove for deep cleaning. The outcome. Dole now considers harvesting to be the beginning of the production process, not the end of the growing process. The equipment used in the harvesting process is as critical to food safety as equipment in the factory and needs to be designed, cleaned, and maintained for sanitation. And that is exactly the sort of food safety progress we should be celebrating in this Food Safety Week.